Ladies, do want arms like this. If you want results to tone up your arms, both the front and the back, so you can start to feel more confident wearing anything you want, I'm going to show you the best exercises, and it's super easy to follow too. So let's get straight to the exercises. So we're first going to target the back of the arms, because this is so much larger than the front of the arms, and trust me, this is going to help you make your arms look more toned, more slimmer, and more defined faster. So the first exercise that we're going to do is the tricep bench dip. And this is honestly such a burner. It's very honest for you to be able to see progress fast. The first thing that we're going to do is make sure we have a bench, or you can use a chair from home as well. We're going to position our thumbs to be underneath our bum and making sure our hand positioning is correct like this. From here, we're going to make sure we have our bum off the bench, and we're going to bend our elbows, having a full emphasis and pressure on the back of the arms. From here, we're going to press upwards. Now with a foot positioning, you can make this easier or harder. I highly recommend that you have your feet underneath your knees so that you have the most support to be able to press through. Now if you want to make this exercise harder, please by all means make it harder. To do this, you can have your legs straight and your toes facing upwards. This is going to help you put more pressure onto the triceps, and like I said, you're going to be able to feel those work even more. But here are some really common mistakes that you need to avoid to make sure you don't hurt your shoulders and actually focus on toning your triceps. The first thing is making sure you have proper range of motion and technique. This, what I'm showing you right now, is super common. And it's a super common mistake because there's absolutely no bending through the elbows, and there's a huge amount of pressure being put on the shoulders. This is going to cause you a fuckload of issues, so please avoid this. Bring your bum back towards the bench and make sure you bend through your elbows. And you know you're doing this correctly because the back of the bench and your bum is going to be scratching up and down that bench. The next thing is to make sure your elbows are pointing directly backwards and not allowing the elbows to flare completely outwards. If you're allowing the elbows to flare outwards, you're going to come across quite a bit of elbow pain in the future. So please make sure you think about having your elbows almost forming a train track, pointing directly to the back of the room instead of towards the left and right of you. Now here are one of the more common exercises that you might see to tone up your triceps. And although it may be one of the exercises that does tone triceps, it's a pretty shit exercise. So I'm going to show you what you can do instead to tone your triceps with dumbbells. And you can still also do this at home or at the gym. The exercise is called a dumbbell skull crusher. What I'm showing you right now is how you do it on a bench, but you can definitely do this on the floor if you don't have access to one. The first thing that we're going to do is make sure we hold onto our dumbbells with our pinkies towards the end of the dumbbells. Now what we're going to do is lie down. And you can see that my elbows are pointing towards the roof and my dumbbells are nice and straight too. Now this is not a wrong position, might I add, but it can be done better. So what I'm going to show you is how we can make it a little bit off center, as I'm showing you right now. And this is going to put an automatic amount of tension on your triceps just from holding that. Now from here, we're going to bend our elbows, making sure we get a deep stretch into those triceps, and have a watch where I have those dumbbells touching close to my shoulders. This is the emphasis that we want to have because it actually takes the muscle through full range of motion, which is going to tone them up so much more. Now from here, all we have to do is straighten the elbows and hold that position before we go into our next one. As of course, as you always have heard from me, 3 seconds on the way down, a nice gentle 1 second pause at the bottom before you come straight back up as fast as possible. Now please, for the love of God, do not do this. This is a very big common mistake where there's a huge amount of shoulder movement going all the way backwards. This is just super uncomfortable, no emphasis on the triceps. So this is a common theme that you're going to see across all the exercises, and it's a common mistake why the back of your arms are not toning up and seeing the results that you wish. Now, like I said, you can still do this exercise from home, just lying on the floor. The only difference is your dumbbells may touch the floor before you can get a full stretch. And that's not to say that this exercise is bad, it's still worth doing. So please make sure you practice this using the dumbbells that you have from home. And you can go pretty heavy with this exercise. Now the next exercise, you're going to need a cable machine. Now the exercise I'm showing you is called the cable rope extensions. You first need to get this rope handle and connect it to the cable machine like so. From here, you want to have this just a little bit above your head height. Experiment with this so you can get full range of motion. For me, it's super simple. I just go all the way up to the top. Now here's how you do this exercise completely wrong. You stand upright, you hit your legs, your arms go up and down. There's absolutely no control in this when we want to emphasize the back of the arms. So I'm going to show you how to do this correctly. The first thing is making sure you hold onto the cable. Duh. Then from here, we're going to take a step back, push your bum out of the way, and push your chest slightly down towards the floor. And then we're going to curl upwards like we're squeezing our biceps. And here's the tip, ladies. If you know how to activate your biceps, you also know how to activate your triceps and vice versa. From here, we're going to push downwards and push away from each other, not hitting towards our legs, but away from each other's hands. Hold this for at least 1 second, making sure the elbows are dead straight, and now your triceps are firing. This is what we want to have. So we start to target them and tone them more. And not all the way up like this, because that's just you being an absolute wally. And trust me, this is one of the best tricep builders that you'll be able to do in combination with a dumbbell skull crusher and also this next exercise I'm about to show you right now. So the next exercise that you need to use for your cables is going to be the overhead tricep extensions. So we're still going to use the rope extension, and what we're going to do is lower down the height of the cable machine roughly around forehead height. And we're going to swing around just like this, facing away from the machine this time. Now from here, we want to make sure that our chest is slightly down, almost parallel with the ground, and notice the bend in the elbows once again. Are you starting to see a pattern? We want our arms to be roughly parallel with the ground and also our thumbs close to our shoulders. This is what's going to be the best start position and also the stretch that we're looking for your triceps. Now from here, we'll push outwards, push away from your hands, and make sure you hold it for 1 second. But if you go 3 seconds back to the correct position, and not having your shoulders roll all the way backwards like you're being yanked from behind. Once we start to get this movement nice and clean and avoid having this yanking behind motion like you might be doing, this is once again going to help you tone up the back of the arms and start to feel a bit more confident, and also get rid of that jiggle that you've been so self-conscious about. Now this last exercise is probably an exercise you didn't even know that was going to shape the back of your arms. But it's actually one of my favorite ones because it's so simple. We don't need any handles, so get rid of that. We're going to pull down the cable and hold onto it just like so. We're still going to stick our butt out. We're going to keep our chest slightly forward, and we're going to straighten the arm all the way down, just like this. We're doing a single arm cable extension. And honestly, it's such an underrated exercise because it looks so simple and it doesn't utilize any special tools. Now, enough about the back of the arms, let's start to help you with the front of the arms. Now, the most common exercise that you're going to see is probably the same ones that you saw your dad do in his bedroom with his dumbbells. Or maybe it's the first exercise you've tried with your dumbbells as soon as you grabbed them when you were a teenager. Look, we don't want to be doing bicep curls like this because it looks like you're shaking the maracas. What we want to do is actually train our biceps, so let's fix this up. The first thing that we're going to do is make sure our palms are facing forward. Now I know there's other variations that you can do with this, but honestly, this is probably the best one. We're now going to push our hips slightly back and we're going to curl upwards like you always do. Now the thing that we're looking for when we're doing these bicep curls is making sure that our elbows don't fall forwards like I'm showing you right now. You could hold this position for a very long time, and that means that the biceps aren't working. You're just taking advantage of your joints, and that's great for certain days. But for this particular instance, when you want to tone up your muscles, you kind of have to use those muscles. So keep those elbows backwards and start to curl and squeeze as hard as you can at the top for 1 second before you go 3 seconds on the way down. Now, shit mistakes that you see, not going all the way down. Flex your triceps at the bottom so you stretch your biceps completely. And now from here, we're going to curl back up again. And these are the standing dumbbell curls. Now, if you really want to make this more effective, let's start getting you onto a bench. Set up your bench to be like so. Now, I don't really know how many degrees to set this at, so this is what I do. I set it all the way upright and I actually click it 3 times just to make sure that's correct. Now from here, I lean backwards, make sure my head is going back, and I'm gonna flex my triceps almost as if I'm trying to reach my knuckles to touch the ground. Now from here, we're gonna curl upwards and squeeze those biceps as hard as you can, keeping those elbows backwards and not allowing them to drag forwards like I'm showing you right now. Once again, that's you cheating. This is how we can start to tone up the front of your arms doing the incline bicep curls. Now in the next video, I'm going to show you how to train to get a snatched waist.